I have been in a writing slump for months, nearly a year. The last date I worked on drafting a book was April 1st of last year. No fooling. Now, I know why, and I'm not mad about it at all, but I like writing, and I want to get back to working on my next book. I have this YouTube channel about writing, and honestly, that's part of the reason for my slump. A lot of my creative energy and creative writing has been poured into starting this channel. I also moved last year, so I've been working on projects like my writing background and other projects in my new space. Maybe the biggest contributor to my writing slump is that I have a manuscript that is almost ready to publish, but I haven't finished that last little bit. It's waiting for me to finish. But Dr. Denise, you might say, don't you talk about writing in only 30 minutes a day? Can't you find a small amount of time to write? Yes, I can, and I practice that. I haven't stopped writing, but I don't have the creativity or the drive to write my next book. Maybe you've been there too. Maybe you've had a transition, a new project, or an event that has made working on your book hard. I've been writing almost daily for 9 years, and this isn't the first time this has happened. So what can you do about it? What am I doing about it? Let's talk about it in this video. Hello, I'm Denis'Thomas. I'm an author, a licensed professional counselor, and a writer who is in a writing slump. So let's talk about what a writing slump is first. A writing slump is a period of weeks, months, maybe even years, where a writer feels stuck. We may feel unmotivated to write, uninspired about what we are writing, and it's just really hard to get to the activity of writing. It can be caused by a lot of different things. Now, this is different from what we call writer's block. Writer's block is where something is keeping the writer from progressing on the manuscript. A writing slump is a decrease in productivity, but the writer may still be writing. That's the case for me. I've been doing a lot of journaling. I've been doing a lot of script writing, but I just haven't written in my draft. So it's not feeling like it's productive book writing. But I'm getting my 500 words a day. Many famous writers talk about being in a writing slump, which tells me that it's a pretty common experience that many writers face. And if you're going to write for years or write multiple projects, it's very likely that at some point you are going to face it too. You, like me, may be in one right now. But no one wants to be in a writing slump. When we're in a writing slump, we may feel bad or like a failure or worthless or like we're not doing the thing that we profess that is important to us. So we're being incongruent with our values. But it's just slowing down. Now, I'm a big fan of seeing the benefits of wherever you are. And I think there are benefits to being in a writing slump too. By having this kind of mindset, it keeps me from fighting the writing slump and using a lot of precious creative energy on fighting what is, and instead allows me to get what I need from the writing slump. And there are some things that I have actually needed during this time that working on a book project would have been counterproductive to me getting. So here's 5 real tips for turning around a writing slump. And the way that I phrase that actually leads right into my first tip. And that is to change your mindset about being in a writer's slump. So you probably have some solid reasons why you can't churn out a book right now. For me, it's a lot of projects. It's a lot of unpacking boxes and getting settled into our new home. It's a lot of writing scripts. It's a lot of putting out multiple videos a week so that I can be consistent here. And all of that means that for the last year, I have not really had the capacity to put out another book. And by not fighting that and not pushing myself to do what I should be doing, I'm actually practicing some self-care. I'm actually nurturing who I am as an artist by allowing myself a reprieve from the expectation that I will be churning out a book a year or 2 books a year. I've done that in the past. I have had periods of really high writing productivity, but this past year was just not that time. And that's okay. Writing is really important to me, but it is not the only thing that is important to me. Settling my family into a home matters a great deal. This new venture on YouTube matters a great deal to me. And I can't have 3 huge projects happening at the same time. So by pulling back a little bit on the expectation of writing, I am taking care of myself. So that's why the first strategy is to change your mindset around it. My second tip is to remember that the writing priority when you are in a writing slump is to maintain the habit of writing. What that means for you is that you do something to maintain the writing habit on a consistent basis. Now, I always say write 500 words a day because 500 words is manageable most of the time. If that's manageable for you, then maybe your 500 words is a letter. Maybe your 500 words is in your journal. Maybe your 500 words is just mind dumping. It doesn't matter as long as you maintain that habit of showing up at your place to write and actually putting some words into a document. That is the entire writing goal during your writing slump, is just to maintain that habit. Because what happens then is when you are ready to start that next project, when you are coming out of that slump, you don't have to start over with your habit. You've already maintained it. Now, if you're in a period where writing 500 words seems like too much, then write less. Again, it's just a placeholder habit. If you can only write for 5 minutes, if you can only write a few sentences, at least you show up in your place for writing. And that's sufficient. That's really all that you need to do when you're in a writing slump. Don't fight yourself. Don't condemn yourself. Just show up and do some sort of writing. This may be a good time just to create a collection of quotations. Maybe you'll use them in a writing project. Maybe you won't, but it still maintains that writing habit. And if you're struggling with even coming up with thoughts to put on paper, and believe me, I have definitely been in writing slumps where that has been a challenge, then even though you're using other people's words, you are still preserving that writing habit. That's not the same as plagiarism. This is just a collection of quotations. But whatever you do, maintain the consistency of writing. Tip number 3, your journal is your writing friend. I always have a digital journal going while I am working on a draft. And if I am not working on a draft, I still have a digital journal going. That is just a repository for writing. That's all it is. I don't even go back and reread it. Most of it is garbage. Sometimes it is just me dumping thoughts so that I can clear my head a little bit. Sometimes it's like cleaning things that I need to get done. Sometimes it is planning a birthday for my kids. It doesn't really matter what it is because this is not where I am doing my writing to publish. This is about maintaining my writing habit. And anytime I can't do that in a draft, then I'm going to go to my journal and I'm going to do my writing there. And I encourage you to do the same. Always have a digital journal going. Doesn't matter what you put in it. It just matters that you are using it to keep that writing habit. So the third tip is that your journal is your writing friend. Well, tip number 4 is to identify and unblock the bottleneck. It's kind of like the champagne cork popping out of the bottle. If you can clear up what it is that's clogging your productivity, then that may open it up so that you're no longer in a writing slump. So if you know why you are in your writing slump, like I do, then this may be something that's really helpful. For me right now, I know that I do not have the capacity for the next book until I finish the last book. And it's all but finished. I keep telling you, there's videos coming soon on the editing process. I have a book on how to edit your book that is drafted and it is almost completely edited. I just need to finish it. That's my bottleneck. At this point right now, I feel like I have a rhythm with my YouTube schedule. I feel like I have done the major house projects that make our home livable and comfortable. And so now that all feels a lot more manageable. But the bottleneck for me is that unfinished book. Do you have a bottleneck? Is there something that you could clear up that would then open up your productivity? I guess I have a book to finish. And the fifth tip that I have for you is to find the benefit in your writing slump. You know, by allowing myself to be in a writing slump for a pretty extended period of time for me, I have given myself a gift. I've given myself the gift of space for other things. When I am hammering out a book, it takes creativity, discipline, and time. And as I've mentioned in other videos, one of the great things about writing every day is that you're often thinking about your writing project even outside of writing time. That's a huge benefit to writing, but it can also be a drain on creativity. By not having those things, by not having lots of thoughts around a new book, I now have space for other things that needed to get done. I have space in my thoughts throughout the day. You know, we have finite resources, and so I have chosen to dedicate mine differently for a period of time, and that means being in a writing slump. But is it worth it to me? Well, right now at this time, yes, it absolutely is. I think I made a good choice in that. But it doesn't mean that I don't want to get to writing my next book. And because I am still writing something and I am still maintaining that habit, when I am ready to write that next book, I'm not starting from zero. I am starting from the place of a writer who knows how to write books and already has the discipline, the routines, the habits in place to get it done. Once I clear that bottleneck. And I have a hunch that it will go quickly once I do that. So those are 5 strategies for addressing a writer's slump. Now, at the beginning, I mentioned that these are ways to get out of a writer's slump, but I would actually argue that that is not the goal. That maybe being in a writer's slump can be purposeful. Maybe you need a time to be less productive with your writing so that you can be more productive and more efficient later on. So which of these 5 strategies are you going to try? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have additional strategies, put those in the comments below. Who knows? Maybe you will inspire me with a new idea. I love new ideas.